Got everybody quiet.
I think we're close enough, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. This is October 27th, and I go to the Commissioners Court for Potter County at 9 a.m. And apply for Potter County Clerk Smith from open up the word of prayer. We'll see what the other place.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather here this morning. Dear Lord, we just thank you for the nice fall weather. We just ask that you be with everybody today as we go about our business for the county. We ask that you be with commissioners as they make important decisions to help this county continue to grow. And we just thank you for this day and thank you for what the week has in store for us. Be with us and guide us. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
I want to congratulate all of our employees for the quality recognition this past week, and for all those who got their service pay 5 years. What was it, 30 years was the highest, or was it higher?
Carrie.
Okay. Carrie, 30 years in Potter County. I was on some bum wheels this past week, so I wasn't able to be there, but it was great as usual. First item on the agenda, we approve the minutes from the October 13th meeting.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second. There's been motion and second to approve the minutes as printed. Those all in favor, show hands. Passes 4-0. Second item, I want to take a couple of things out of order this morning. Constable 2 is now on the agenda item. He has court right now, so we're going to go ahead and proceed with his item. Walnut, forfeiture fund. Constable Precinct 2 to consider an act upon creating a special fund for forfeiture shared by Potter County Attorney for assistance in certain cases under the Code of Criminal Procedure, Chapter 18, and to establish a budget for these funds. I'm sorry, this is item number 16.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Questions?
Let's see, we'll see what we'll visit with. I know that we'll visit on as far as the alignment of what the funds would actually come from, but we'll see what's happening.
This is what you call the laser radar. It's one of the newest ones that's out there. It's an awesome machine. You just point, this little thing comes out, just point and squeeze, and this is what we're talking about. This is a laser radar. It's what most of the law departments use these days. It's a handheld device.
I'm going too fast.
I got you back.
Slow down.
You know, and anytime you have, we'll come out and stuff, we're always for 4 hours, we just come out and all that stuff, you can see that how we use it, or how we use it on a daily basis, so I don't mind a bit. Any questions, concerns, if you want to come out and see how it actually works, give me a call. We're going to make some stops, I don't mind a bit.
Yes, my question, we currently do not have a forfeiture account for constable.
No, sir.
So that's what we're doing, actually establishing.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Dave, any thoughts on this as far as a separate fund or a general fund as far as expenditures?
I hope Scott knows this better than I'm not, and I'll let Scott address it. I don't, if there are any detailed questions about it. I'm thinking that, I mean, you can, or I'm not sure there's a necessity of establishing a separate fund for this. I think the question to me more would be the use of the money. Is that right, Scott?
Yes, what's occurred here is Constable Jackson assisted us in running an operation on gambling. In course of gambling investigation, and as we do with any other law enforcement agency that assists, when property or money is forfeited, we pay out a portion of shares to those agencies that assist us, and Constable Jackson assisted. So he's going to get some money out of one of our forfeitures, and he doesn't have an available way to spend it on his office. I will say that the spirit of that statute speaks to those monies going to gambling investigations. So if you can tie it to that, that's probably the more appropriate sort of usage of those funds. But I agree with Dave. I think it's really a question of what Terry feels is necessary to properly account for those funds. There's not a statutory requirement of the establishment of a separate fund, but it may make accounting for it from Terry's perspective an easier task.
And as you'll know, we did create a separate fund for the county attorney's office because of the volume that goes through there and the fact that they pay employees out of that. And Constable Jackson had just requested that we handle his funds in the same way, even though it will be less frequent and lesser amount. It really won't make any difference to us. A single line item in the general fund is probably easier, but it's not a big deal if y'all want to keep it separate.
So any reasons why you say it's for a separate account versus keeping the general line item?
Doesn't matter, Commissioner, how it works for y'all.
It makes it much easier for you as far as accounting purposes.
Well, just because there's not going to be that much activity in it, I don't know that it's necessary to do another fund. It will come to y'all for approval regardless of how we do it.
I don't see any reason to establish a separate fund, just put it in the general fund.
Because it is new money, and we still need a budget for it. So, on the memo that I gave you, I had a revenue account for unrestricted forfeitures and an expenditure account of the general operating expenses. If you go ahead and establish that budget in the general fund for Constable Precinct 2.
The only question I would have is, what would these funds be spent on? What could they be spent on?
Any kind of equipment that Constable Jackson might decide he needs in providing assistance for us. We use them for everything from paying people to buying surveillance equipment, that sort of thing. So,
What do you think you're going to be using the funds for?
The same thing as for department uses only as far as equipment, education, training, stuff like that.
right, we do send
Use it
people
for
to train,
education.
specialized training for gambling investigation.
Good person.
I don't have a question, I just trying to figure out how to word this so we can.
Yeah. Ask Carrie if she would kind of give us a little bit again how best we can position those funds.
I guess if you just certify the receipt of forfeiture money and expenditure budget of operating expenses for Precinct 2
From the general.
in the general fund.
You get that, Julie?
Not all of it.
Feeding it in.
Is it recorded?
It is recorded.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it is,
Yeah,
yes.
it's captured. All right. Entertain a motion.
That's so moved to approve.
Second.
The proper motion and second to approve the fund to be set aside for the general account for Constable 2, the forfeiture funds. Those all in favor, show hands. Okay, passes 4-0.
Thank y'all. Is that to the Scott Davis, thank him for allowing me to assist him with their observations. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, one other item I'd like to take out of order would be item number 15. Walnut Hills subdivision is to consider an act on establishing an additional route into Walnut Hills for emergency vehicles and other traffic.
I have Miss Carolyn Sparks is here this morning. She's a resident out there at Walnut Hills. And why don't you come up and kind of explain what we're needing here, or what we need to be talking about.
Good morning, Ms. Ward.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for your time and for allowing me to address this issue. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I would like to request that plan for an alternate access for Walnut Hills be developed, and then provide that plan to the parties that would be impacted by such a plan, like the residents, the fire department, the police department, or sheriff's department, and the surrounding subdivisions. And if there's a plan already developed, which Mr. Kelly indicated there wasn't,
Not that I'm aware of. There may be, but I'm not aware of one.
if there was a plan to redistribute it to everybody so we know where to go should an emergency arise. And possible scenarios that would indicate a need for alternate access to Walnut Hills is the railroad underpass might become impassable. I hate to think of the event that would cause that, but anyway, that could be one. The railroad underpass impassable, and the bridge under construction, or the bridge collapses or is under construction. So those are the things that could possibly really isolate both the east and the west side. And then the other question that I would like for the county to address, just clarify for me, is who is to provide the maintenance of the bridge until everything's resolved?
Are you talking about the repair or the replacement?
Just maintaining it, like right now, there's some,
Well, it's a bridge that the county owns, and of course, we maintain.
okay, so we just contact the road and bridge when we feel like.
Sebastian's here from Road and Bridge.
Okay,
Well, I don't know if we have TxDOT has more authority over that bridge than we do at the moment. I'm just not sure. They can, I realize we have maintained it in the past, but when TxDOT come in, did their survey, I think we need to check with TxDOT.
We're still in the process of whether or not that bridge is gonna be replaced or not. That's not been finalized yet. There's some paperwork that I guess you have sent back to TxDOT to see if they'll change their mind on whether or not that's gonna be a historic bridge.
it's
Still in limbo.
limbo.
Yeah. Well, you know, after all the study that they did on that bridge, I don't think they're gonna change their mind. I think they're gonna come back and say, no, it's a bridge, and they're not gonna change their attitude.
I will say that in 1998, when Texas Historical Commission indicated that it might be a bowstring pony truss bridge, and it would be only one of two in the state, that mistaken information at least allowed us all these years to keep the bridge, trying to resolve that. So that's all I had to request, is the plan be developed for alternate access.
I know that there is a gate on the, I don't know, my directions out there on the
West side.
that can be used by some emergency vehicles. But that, I understand that is owned by private individuals, is that right? That gate?
The gate?
Who owns that fence in the
I
grass?
know Carter County paid for the gate and the lock on it, and that the fire department people have a key to it.
Right.
It's the alley leading up to it that's owned by the homeowners association up there.
So it's the alley that's
Lock
the alley that keeps us from using that.
I don't think
That was
I don't think they mind as long as it's emergency vehicle. No, emergency, fire department, whatever, any emergency vehicle can go through there. They don't want the general public going through.
For the residents.
Or road and bridge.
So if we do an alternate route, we're gonna have to go over some private property.
We'll have to go through George Chapman over there. I don't know if he still owns the land, but at least this quarter of a mile is on his property. It's gonna be a major undertaking to do this, because I don't know how long it's gonna take TxDOT. I'm assuming about a year. When we made this bypass prior, 5-6 years ago, when we replanked the bridge, we built just a temporary one through there, and it's all washed out, and we'll just have to start over to do it.
Does TxDOT have responsibility for bridges?
I don't know.
Oh.
There's over $500,000 ready to replace that bridge.
Well, a plan is easy. It's getting it done. Getting the work done is expensive.
And regarding that plan, that means that all parties would have to be a part of that, so we can an agreement, right? Not only the, TxDOT and county, but also the private owners that, portion of that, the bridge. But is that an open gate, or is that, at gate secured?
Well, I don't know. We put locks on it. They cut the locks off, so I quit putting locks on it.
So if doing an emergency, route, access or egress, how do you do that?
Well, Richard used to have keys to them as well as us.
We got some folks who want to respond. Go ahead,
Well,
Sebastian.
TxDOT has jurisdiction over every bridge within the county regardless if it's county owned. So they went and inspected the bridge and found it wasn't up to specs. This is what it's all about, this came about. Yeah, they have jurisdiction over it. That bridge, we own it, but they have jurisdiction over it. That's why they came in and did a survey on it. They check all the bridges in the county every 2 years. They inspect them all to make sure they're up to specs and safe. And they found this one wasn't safe, and they said it could last a month, it could last 25 years. But if somebody goes across it and it collapses, then the county's liable for it. And that's where we're at right now.
They're bridge, but they could be liable, okay?
Yeah, we'll be liable for it. If somebody goes across it and it collapses, then we'll be sued.
We talked about that.
Yeah, in the meeting, we talked about that meeting.
So, how do you propose, do you have any plans for a plan?
I don't have any plans. I don't know what plans you could make to get in there from another entrance way.
Just like
You gotta buy a lot of property, that's
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Just like Roger said, it's private property, it's Dewey that ends right there, across the bridge, and then we cut across that private property, went all the way up to where the city meets up, and there's houses over there now, but they're on the other side of the street, but it's, to cross it, we have pictures, we'll pass them around, I guess, so you can look at it, but we put a plastic culvert in there to cross that creek, and if it's gonna take a year for the TxDOT to fix that bridge, we're gonna have to do something that's gonna have to outlast the weather and everything else. It's just gonna be a bigger project to cross.
That's where we crossed the creek. And
Yeah, we're not-
That was,
we won't
that's 5
start.
years ago. Just a
No,
temporary-
they're, I don't know when they're starting, they still gotta find out Friday, I guess, if it's historical or.
When they kind of, it's a detour.
Yeah.
they get around here, so
And then we'll start
on
working on the
fix
whole
the
thing.
What kind of agreements did you have in the past with the homeowners, or not homeowners, the property owners to go through their property there?
Well, see, it belonged to George Chapman, all that house.
This is on George Chapman.
Well, then the homeowners, I guess the city gave it to the homeowners and now they own it.
No, I mean, you had a temporary,
Oh, the temporary?
the temporary little road that you put
Well,
in.
that was with just George Chapman, he does go through there.
Just a permission from.
Yeah, from him, the landowner.
But we were friends back in the day, I don't know what.
And from what I understand, he filed bankruptcy, so I don't even know if it's in his name or his son's name. So So,
You should.
There's a lot of.
Well,
It's temporary pass, again.
Well, the
The old
temporary-
bypass.
Yeah.
So any,
if they go in there and replace this bridge, we're gonna have to give these folks a way to get out.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Well, there's a cul-de-sac at Wren. It's just 5 feet from a fence that stops, or that divides La Paloma and Hill.
Yeah, and that, I guess that 5 feet belongs to the city. Our right of way stops, the city owns that, connecting. You'd have to knock out the fence with brick and wood, and then the curb to get to there. And I don't know if the city would allow that. That's another alternative, but I don't know if the city would allow us, or La Paloma Homeowners Association to let us knock that fence out and go through there.
We just don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know anything yet. Those are two options.
Well, like, so we don't have any final decisions yet. When those final decisions come through and they're in that place, if it's gonna be replaced, then we'll
We're gonna have to do something.
we'll have to do.
We have to.
You said that's the only option, we're talking west side, but if something should
Okay.
happen on the
Leave the
east
bridge
side,
and
how
comes
do
through.
they get out?
I don't know. I have no idea how they would do that. If the bridge, the railroad tracks ever collapsed, I don't know how they would do that.
No, there's no
And the
way for them
bridge
to get
is
out
no
of here.
longer there, or
If
whatever.
something happens to the railroad bridge.
Yeah, if something happened with that, I don't know.
But the east side would definitely be more isolated than, because there ain't any,
Yeah,
there's a footbridge.
There's no way to get in or out.
Bridge, that,
To begin with,
yes,
you talking about the one they're gonna replace? It was built in 1958 by a farmer, I believe.
Louis Ashcroft.
Yeah, he put it together.
And Silver Drill, Louis Ashcroft.
yes.
And we accepted it in 1998, I believe, or 2008. We
No,
accepted it.
1998.
1998, we accepted it. And then we,
The maintenance on the road, not drainage or anything, just maintenance on the road.
yeah, and the bridge,
I don't know if he ever did.
yeah, we accepted it in 1998. I think that's what was said in the meeting. We accepted it.
He's wondering about constructing the new bridge beside the old one.
Oh,
Continue to use the old bridge.
well, then
I'm
we'd have,
sorry.
we'd have to have the property.
We don't own the property.
Yeah, we don't
Nobody-
know, we only got the right of
That's
way.
private.
Yeah, so it's either gotta be picked up and moved, I mean, buy property, move it over, which you got those utility lines and everything else. And then the property's gonna have to be built for the, it's gonna have to be built anyway, probably bought anyway. That bridge's gonna be 30 foot wide with the sidewalks, so it's gonna be a massive bridge, it's not, the one that's there is one lane.
so have we entertained conversations with, Mr. Chapman?
No, we haven't had any, this is the first of it that we brought up. As far, we're waiting on the state to take the steps first, and then we move forward. But until they tell us if the bridge has historical value or whatever, then we can move forward as alternate
I got
routes.
like 21, I got like 21 days to respond.
They told us, Terry Nix told us like the end of February,
Right.
I mean, November.
Yeah, like 21 days to, from the time that, we receive the information, that they'll respond back, and again, I'm pretty sure it's gonna say.
It's a step-by-step process, but we gotta wait on the state first before we can go forward with anything else.
So we just wait for.
Yeah, we just need to wait for the final response, and then, it'd be up to the Walnut Hills people to make a decision whether they wanna keep that old bridge or have a new one put in, and, 'cause they're not gonna work on the old bridge. They won't spend the funds for the old bridge. Well, replace it.
But if we're responsible, we ought to have a say in it.
Yeah, we do, it's our bridge, yeah, we will have the final response.
But it has to be replaced.
Yeah.
So we okay right now, and everyone as we work toward that, we're waiting on the state's decision?
And we're fine.
In case of the
Will there
other,
be a plan developed?
Well, there'll be, I'm sure there has to be a plan developed, if they're gonna put in the new bridge, there's gonna have to be something done to get you in and out there, so we'll need to work on this. And the
Would
state
that be
side.
for the west side?
I'm not sure, that'd be something that the state will certainly work with us on the location to get them in and out. It may be right next, yes.
Just a little input, I think George Chapman's got all that land north of town all for sale, I think Astor Auctions is the one that's gonna be doing
The signs are up.
Anything else, Ms. Barnes?
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming this morning and sharing your concerns.
All right. That's back to the beginning of the agenda item for today on vouchers. To consider and act upon the approval of the payment of vouchers processed by the county auditor's office for the period of October 8th through 2014 through October 22nd, 2014, in the amount of $2,022,411.01. Two.
A second.
Any questions, regards to the vouchers? Bring forward. Not hearing none, the motion and second is on the floor to approve of the vouchers in the amount of $2,022,411.01. All those in favor, show of hands. It passes 4-0. Item number 3, budget amendments. To consider and act upon a budget amendment for the 2014-2015 fiscal year. Gary.
This is just, new grant money coming in that was not included in the budget. And I'm just asking you to certify that incoming revenue of $51,000 and the expenditures out of the detention center to use those funds.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the budget amendments for this fiscal year. All those in favor, show of hands. Passes 4-0. Treasury reports to recognize the following: the monthly treasury report and also quarterly investment report. Dan?
I want to thank Deanne and all the other folks that helped put that little soiree together the other night. It was a lot of fun.
Sonny and Cheryl were real impressive.
Very impressive.
We had 138 reserved and 122 attended.
That's terrific. That's great.
And Julie's idea was great that next year we're going to put out a notice to all department heads and elected officials who of their staff will be receiving awards. And that way they can get the word out to the department and be able to support that as well. So we're gonna implement that. But everybody worked so hard, they did a super job. Just a couple of things I wanna clean out this one, get my notes together here. Probably the most significant in the investment report is if we go toward the back where you have the Cedars listed. Two have matured. The last one that had matured on September the 18th. I had brought it to the court's attention last quarter that they had incorrectly shown that we would receive 20 basis points for that particular investment. And they had assured me that it was corrected. But when it matured and the money came through, the interest, it was not correct. So they have then, since then, corrected that, and that shows the two different, it earned $2,400, was the first payment, and then they came back with the error and included another $1,800. So that has been corrected. We currently, this morning, have $16.3 million in our general cash fund. The investment committee will meet in November, and we're meeting with some other specialists to get some different ideas and ways where we can, kind of diversify our investments coming up in this next quarter. So we'll bring you up to date on that in the next quarter, but we've got some things in.
Any ideas, any ideas that come out there as far as?
Well, one
creative?
thing for sure is, Dave's working on the legality of it and, different contract information, is a sweep account, which I had mentioned to you guys, I think also the last time. And, so we're gonna meet with the specialist on that, the team will, and, get some more information as far as that goes. But, they're just, as you can tell, the market's very volatile. Textile had been down 1 and 5. And, this morning it is 3 and 7, and has been for a couple of weeks, so we're kind of stable again, but it's a. So,
We're going to the Bronco.
we're on it.
Thank you.
Thanks again, treasury report so recognized. Number 5, item, insurance report, recognize the insurance fund report. Okay, anything?
There's nothing unusual on the report this time.
The insurance report so recognized. Item number 6, chapter 59, asset forfeiture report. Is to request the auditor's office to audit the chapter 59 funds for the 47th district attorney and for the sheriff's as required by article 59.06 of the Code of Criminal Procedures. Thanks, Sam.
As you can see by the insert in your packet, I have to swear that y'all have requested this audit, so I can get y'all to request it so that I can sign off on it.
I move that we request the auditor's office to audit the chapter 59 fund for the 47th district attorney and for the sheriff as required.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the request of the auditor's office to audit the chapter 59 funds for the 47th district attorney and for the sheriff as required by article 59.06 of the criminal code procedures. All those in favor, show of hands. Okay, passes 4-0. Item number 7, Potter County projects. Mr. Here report the various Potter County projects and to take any action as necessary.
Good morning. The items to present to you today is to make you aware of the county courthouse, our elevator shift project has been completed. The Santa Fe elevator modernization project, we have completed the design phase. David's got everything lined out for this project to go out for bid. I believe our pre-bid is November 18th. And we hope to bring that project to the commissioners during the month of December. Volunteer fire station number 3, we are currently nearing completion on our schematic design and the opinion of probable cost. Hopefully we will have that ready this week to present to our commissioners to move forward and hopefully present it to the commissioners at the next quarter. XL Energy, the retro commissioning project, the Weldon Company have presented their report. We visited with our agent Travis Brown here a while back, and we are preparing to enter into the second phase of this, to where we will actually have a more detailed investigation of what is required and the associated cost, and then I will present that to you. The Fire Station 6 remodel project that will be funded out of the current budget. We have received our proposals. They're still currently under review at this time. The environmental, the second task is where our environmental consultant will do a project designing. So I will be hopefully initiating that this week, and then we'll look forward to proceed toward the third task, where we'll actually do the remediation out there on the flooring. The next item is the health projects. What I'm going to present to you at this time, and I'm going to let David present some issues as well. We held our meeting as requested by the Commissioners Court with TAC. TAG gave their response. In turn, what I'm presenting to you at this time is a recommendation from the committee to the Commissioners Court. The recommendation is that the Tri-State Fair Board, that they hire one of the three recommended engineers provided by TAC, being Rimkus, Donan, or Pronet. One of these three right here is ones that they would like for them to hire. They pay for it to bring in another engineer. One of these three engineers right here does not know anything about the health plans that took place out there. Just bring somebody in totally new. We still have some kind of contradictory responses from the fair. Virgil, we had visited with him on whether or not Crenshaw was a licensed engineer or just a roof consultant. So once the investigation is ready to proceed forth, the ones that would be involved would be the selected engineer, Young and Associates, that did the second inspection out there on some of the buildings, and myself. We will go through all of the 10 facilities. Upon completion of that, you'll have a report turned over to everybody that's involved, including the Willis Company and TAC. And basically, we held a meeting with Virgil the other day. Do you want to explain what took place there, please?
Well, I don't know that, and this is something we'll need to talk to him again after we get directions from y'all, but I don't know that they're gonna wanna pay for another engineer to come out there because they feel like they've already hired an engineer. In talking to Steve Willis, I think the only reason TAC wanted them to hire him is so they didn't feel like, so that the fair board didn't feel like, well, that's another engineering firm that the insurance company hired, so they're of course on their side. And I don't know that TAC would have a problem paying for it. They just don't want that perception by the fair board that that engineer's in their pocket and is gonna claim what they want them to claim. So, but that's kind of where we are.
What are those assessments cost?
Virgil explained to us that they had spent $24,000 with Crenshaw, and they're a roof consultant, for them to come out and look at it. I'll be guessing somewhere around that range. The issue that I had with the report was when that was presented back to Potter County, you know, y'all received a report from Hague Engineering. The gentleman that performed the inspection was a licensed engineer. He put his stamp on there. And that's what I would have expected from Crenshaw whenever they presented their report. They're claiming that this is an engineer's report. There's no stamp on it. So what it's worth, we just presented to you and like to know how you would like to proceed.
Well, first of all, you know, it puts us in sort of a box here. And I can appreciate TAC's approach to that, not being perceived as hiring at it, and then the judgmental high that comes down will be perceived that you say it would be in their pocket. But at the same token, I don't see Potter County, you know, we've kind of expanded ourselves quite a bit already, because even going back from the day one for the invitation of helping them out with their insurance. So it seems like it's a ping pong game here, back and forth, and wanting us to carry the heavy load. Sooner or later, they're going to have to do some of the heavy lifting. And it's my interpretation that, hey, we leave it in their court, and you either, I don't want to use the phrase that typically would do, but you do or you don't.
You're exactly, right now, you're exactly where you were 1 year ago. We had the same discussion at the last meeting in October.
So Virgil's, from the opinion of the Fairgrounds committee, is that they.
Well, that was his initial reaction, and he did contact Mike the next day and said, well, can I get a list of the engineers in case we are required to do something?
Friday, latter part of the morning Friday, he did call and I gave him the 3 names.
I still think that with y'all's approval, we should approach him and say that, you know, we want you to hire one of these 3 engineers to get the process going. But we kind of wanted y'all to officially know about that before we.
When they return that information, that's gonna be enough? Are we gonna go through this?
I don't think we're gonna continue to go down this road. I think this is probably one of our last steps as far as okay, our recommendation is that you procure an engineer. And, see,
It's on them whether they wanna do that or not.
so let's just say hypothetically, Dave, that they say, no, they don't feel that they should procure another engineer. And again, the interpretation of another engineer, because as you said, the initial one wasn't quite under the guise of an engineer, a forensic engineer, as was stated.
They feel that the Vicky Crenshaw, the owner of the company, would be willing to sign off, which I've got a problem with that, even though they are licensed underneath that company as a consulting engineering firm. To be the one that performs the inspection, should be the one with their stamp.
I mean, if they don't wanna do it, I mean, I think we go with, I think we do what tax is, that whatever tax is, they're our insurance carrier. I don't think we ought to do anything to go against our insurance carrier unless we have good reason to do so. And I mean, what we've done is offered kind of offered variance. Look, here's a way going forward, and we're kind of going the extra mile, going this far in my view. And, you know, this is a way forward for you, but you gotta do something. Because, I mean, they're essentially asking me, I mean, their position is that we replace, not just repair, but replace a lot of those roofs out there. And that's gonna cost somebody a lot of money.
That's
Not
somebody's
me.
ass.
And, we're gonna, you know, anyway, I feel like.
That's personally the taxpayer.
We need to listen to what our insurance carrier says about this.
I think that was the thoughts of the committee, and when we bring it to the court to make that recommendation, thank you, President.
Yeah, I think we ought to give them the opportunity to hire one of these people, and if they don't, we'll just go, to me, I'm ready to go attack, get this out of here.
Okay, we entertain the motion.
I'll go ahead and put my political career on the line. I move that we offer Fairgrounds to go ahead and hire one of the three engineering firms that TAC has recommended, and proceed from there.
I'll second. Judge second has been moved and by Commissioner Church and seconded by Judge Ware that we recommend to regular president for tax recommendation to hire one of the engineers so possible. Those in favor, show of hands. Okay, passes 4-0. Thanks. Thanks, Mike, Dave. Okay, item number 8. Resolution Texas Home and Hospice Care Month is to consider an act upon adopting a resolution in support of November as Home Care and Hospice Month.
We received a request from Texas Home Association of Home Care and Hospice Care. And this November is the month that celebrates that. And they've asked us to, y'all, Commissioners Court, to adopt a resolution supporting that. I mean, for itself. So, I think, Julie, did this come in the county's email?
Yes, it did.
So it didn't come into even the county judges, so we just kind of, Julie and I talked and learned how to handle it. We figured out we just handled it as a request for the agenda. So, I mean, you're under no compunction to approve this if you want to. It seems to be a working cause. I mean, it's entirely up to you whether you'd like to do that. But we thought we'd at least offer an opportunity to consider it since it comes into the county.
Will be anybody from hospice here this morning?
No, sir. It was a contact in the state organization, not a local person, so we didn't expect anybody. They just asked that if we passed it to, that we provide them a copy just so they can say in their publicity, add us to a list of counties and other government entities that are supporting this.
Okay. Just for the interest of transparency, I'm gonna try to read through this real quick and so everyone will know what we're voting on.
Need to read through all that?
You don't want me to break the record. Okay. Okay, everybody comfortable tonight?
Well, I'd move that we approve the resolution recognizing November as the home health care and hospice month.
Second.
Might just say that a year ago, my mother took advantage of a lot of this, and it's a great service. I think it's worthy that we recognize it.
Most of us have been touched by hospice one way or another, and certainly it's well worth our efforts.
Absolutely, well stated. Okay. Motion to approve and by Commissioner Church and seconded by Judge Ware. That's right.
Yes.
Okay. To approve of the resolution acting and adopting resolution in support of November as home health and hospice month. Those in favor, show of hands. Passes 5-0.
Smooth that way.
I'm sorry, 4-0.
Well, not so smooth.
Rest in mind. All right, item number 9 is the formal bid number 1096-14. Is to consider an act upon awarding formal bid 1096-14, mobile command trailer to North American Custom Specialty Vehicles, LLC, Corporation, as the lowest responsive bid in the amount of $150,000. Funds to be used from Sheriff's Office forfeiture.
The sheriff approached me about putting out a bid for a mobile command trailer, and that's what we've done. You have your tabulation in front of you that shows the 3 companies that responded, and we're recommending to the lowest responsive bid, which is also the low bid. And the sheriff did go and look at it, him and Jason Patrick, and I believe Richard Lake, and they think it'll meet their needs as far as
I make a motion that we'll approve formal bid number 1096-114, mobile command trailer.
Second. Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve of the formal bid.
In the amount of $150,000.
Right, the amount of $150,000 for the mobile command trailer to North American Custom Special Vehicles. Those in favor, show of hands. Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Item number 10, formal bid 1097-14, to consider an act on awarding formal bid 1097-14, Otter County vehicles to Caldwell County Country Chevrolet as the lowest responsive bid in the amount of $261,168. Funds budgeted in the 2014-15 fiscal year.
These are the 8 patrol vehicles for the sheriff's office. They did come within budget. And I will say, I left fire and rescue off of this. I forgot they were buying a vehicle, but I checked with the state rate and it's exactly the same as what these are per vehicle. So I'll be bringing that to the next one to buy theirs off of the state contract.
Further? It's been moved and seconded to approve the formal bid 1097-14 for purchase of the Poly County vehicles out of the 2014-15 budget to Caldwell County Chevrolet in the amount of $261,168.
Was Church, who was the second on that?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor, show of hands. Passes 4-0. Item number 11 is to consider an act upon approving a contract with Architects for the design services for the Santa Fe Building Terracotta Project. Funds budgeted for attached 1 and 2 in the 2014-15 budget year. This is an exemption from competitive bid as a professional service.
This is an agreement with Architects to do the design and specification development for the terracotta replacement on the Santa Fe building. You all did approve some money for those professional services. task 3 and 4 are also in this contract. That would actually be for the bid administration and the project oversight once you approve the project. But I believe that would happen next fiscal year. So you're just approving task 1 and 2, but this contract allows us to extend the task 3 and 4 should we need that if you approve it in the next.
Council Plan.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with Texas for design services for Santa Fe Building with Terracotta Project for budgeted for task 1 and 2 in this year's fiscal 2014 fiscal 15 budget year. This is an exemption from the competitive bid and professional service. Those in favor, show of hands. It passes 4-0. Item 12, equipment replacement, repair, equipment replacement, replace. To consider and act upon replacing a laptop, PC number 20014, that is unrepairable. Funds to be taken from equipment repair and replacement.
This was a request for a laptop from the district attorney's office that IT was unable to repair. And so we're asking that we can replace that laptop with a new one. We're getting a comparable model that was almost the same price as the one we bought in the spring.
What happened to this particular item?
The fan went out, inside the unit. It caused the main board to overheat. And the warranty on this particular unit expired back in March. Dell.
Okay. What's it?
Move to replace the laptop PC number 2014 that is unrepairable. And funds to be taken from the equipment repair and replacement.
Second, but just for discussion, I think that Commissioner Kelly, you were going to go over this, how much it was going to cost.
Yes. What was the cost? What was the cost?
1875.
Those laptops we've got are 3 or 4 years, I know they're at least 3 years old, I'm pretty sure they're probably 4.
The original one was 1875. The quote we have for the new one is 1811 cents.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, motion to approve has been made by Commissioner Church, seconded by Judge Ware.
No, thank you.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you did.
Seconded by yours truly. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, passes 4-0. Thank you. Item number 13, equipment purchase. To consider an act upon the following. The purchase of a 2015 HEV for the sheriff's office in the amount of $10,937.50 from Altus Motorsports. Funds budgeted in the 2014-2015 fiscal year. We want to go through all these and approve item individually, or we want to just look at doing all of it?
Individually? All at once?
Do it all at once. Okay, do it all at once.
Since they're in our budget?
It is not.
Yeah, we're gonna pass. We approve these at budget time. Okay.
Item D, the purchase of a server for records management in the amount of $22,105.13 from Dell, utilizing DIR contract number DIR-SDE-1051. Funds budgeted in the records management fund 2014-2015 fiscal year. Item C, the purchase and installation of 3 boilers in the Santa Fe building from Allen's Tri-State Mechanical in the amount of $49,285.24 from Potter County contract number 1047-12, funds budgeted in the 2014-2015 fiscal year. I'll second. It's been motioned and approved. The second to approve of the items that are already in the budget for 2014-15 fiscal year. Those in favor, show of hands. It passes 4-0. Item number 14 a vehicle addition, to consider and act upon adding a forfeited vehicle to the county inventory for shared use by the sheriff's office in undercover operations.
We received a forfeiture awarded to, I believe, the district attorney's office, but it's a share program that the sheriff's office gets a certain percentage and the district attorney gets a certain percentage. Well, the sheriff's asked the district attorney if they could pay them their percentage based on Blue Book value of this vehicle and add it to their undercover fleet in order to do that.
Already in the budget, already, in their fund.
Well, and their funds, I believe they're gonna use from forfeiture, so they're using forfeiture funds to reimburse them, so it'll all be forfeiture.
Do we know how much, that's, sales?
It's around $2,000 or $3,000, I believe.
Any questions?
Further need. It's been moved to approve. Chair, correct. Judge. Second.
Motion on the floor to approve and second, the adding, forfeited vehicle to the county inventory by the use of the sheriff's office in undercover operations. Those in favor, show of hands. Passes 4-0. Thank you so much. Item number 17, to consider an act upon the following employment items. Item A, Elections Administration, the employment of Robin Ramirez, Deputy Clerk, effective October 23rd, 2014. Facilities Maintenance, the employment of Esther Marie Scheller, Custodial 1, effective November 11, 14. And the Facilities Maintenance, the employment of Wanda Mae Nelson, Custodial 1, effective 1st November 14.
Move to approve.
Judge, approve, second. Okay, it's been motion and approved, and seconded to approve of the items, employment items listed, those in favor, show of hands. Okay, passes 4-0. Okay, item 18, executive session, is to hold executive session if necessary. I don't think there's anything necessary, need for executive session. The jail count for as of 6:23 a.m. this morning is 517 total, with 96 females, and we have none in children's.
Oh, yeah. By the end of the day,
Okay. Any insurance item?
Nothing new to report.
Good. Agenda items for the next, Commissioners Court meeting. Anything for court this morning?
I don't know if this is appropriate time for me to say this. But, I know many of you have either family or friends that live in the unincorporated part of Potter County. And we have an issue on the ballot, the County Assistance District. And I think it's really important for our county to have that. And as you know, we approved 2% increase in sales tax if it passes for just the unincorporated part of the county. Brings that level up to the same level as it is already in the city. We'll use that money then to help with fire prevention equipment. And so if you have, or if you live out there, we hope that you will support that issue.
I want to thank Leon for all the work that he's done to get a lot of folks information as to what was taking place and why this was taking place. And, looked like, the meeting I attended, that there wasn't any negative attitude towards this tax, so I was very surprised by that. But thank you for all your work.
Well, thank you. You're up at 7 in the morning. I'm supposed to be on Channel 10.
Good luck. I'll record it. Okay.
Okay, nothing else before court? As of 9:58 a.m.